Guys, I want to give you some assurance for Bitcoin, for crypto. So first of all, most importantly, we have these cycles, right? We have these 4-year cycles, and how they work is that basically 210,000 Bitcoin blocks have to be mined for the new cycle to begin. And this is when the halving event happens, when the reward is cut in half, and it takes about 10 minutes for one of those blocks to be mined. So it's approximately every 4 years. Now, it's not exactly every 4 years, it can vary by, a month or two. But what is definitely every 4 years is when we look at the price. So when we look at the price, we can see a clear pattern. For example, from the top to the bottom, it's always 364 days. You can see it right here, every single time. If we go from the bottom to the top was right here. It's always 1,064 days, every single time. So price wise, there's a pattern. We have always a top for Bitcoin, Q4 of the post halving year. So we had the top obviously here in September. It is Q4 of the halving year before that. Here we had a top in November, that's Q4 as well. Here we had a top in December, that's Q4, the next year after the halving. And in the Genesis cycle, in the first cycle, we had a top in December, that's Q4 also, the year after the halving. So we can see a clear similarities here. The next thing I want to talk about is that Bitcoin always has this similar pattern after we start going into a bear market. So we find a support which is around about midway through the bull market, and then midway through the bull market we find a support, and as we go down we go around that support and then go a bit lower. So let me show that to you guys in the last few cycles. So we go up, we go into our bull market. Midway through the bull market, we find a support. Okay, the bull market continues, and then we trade around this price range. We consolidate a bit before we go down a bit more. Same thing happened this time, right? Found support. This is pretty much a one-to-one copy to the last cycle. Look at this. High, find support, slightly higher high, and then we go down. High, found support, slightly higher high, and we go down. I mean, one-to-one copy to the last time. The second cycle is a bit different. Again, we found support here, and we basically just made one high, but we found consolidation. We found support on the way down before then making a bit going lower a bit more. And on the first cycle, very similar. So these two cycles played out very similar, and the last two cycles played out very similar. It's just that we are consolidating around a price and going down slowly. So what I strongly think will happen is that we are going to continue to go down and consolidate over the next few months. And I think we're going to find a bottom in around about September, October to November of this year, which is where we always had a bottom. Look at this. We had a bottom here around about October. Bottom was here around about end of September. Here the bottom was, these are all the cycles, right? Here last cycle the bottom was around about October, November, and most likely the same thing is going to happen this time. As I said, there's a clear pattern, and therefore do not stress about it. Of course, I expect Bitcoin to go a bit more sideways, like I just said, like the last few times, consolidate, go slowly down, and where I think we might be bottoming out, if we go here, I think we're gonna most likely bottom out at around this price point. So 49,000 approximately. Why is that? Because look, we have support. We found support here. We found resistance here. If we go a bit further left at the same price point, we have also had support and resistance, right? We had resistance here, and resistance here as well. And therefore, it is definitely a very strong line where I think we can be bouncing from. So until October, November, we could potentially just continue going down slowly, unless, of course, 60,000 was the bottom. But I think it makes sense that we go down to around 49, 50,000 very slowly over the next few months, before then, again, interest starts picking up and we start going higher again. If we look at Bitcoin on the shorter time frame, we can see that we basically have to surpass this level here, which is around 72,000. If we do not surpass 72,000, we can expect to go a bit lower, but that's for a short-term analysis. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this time. I just wanted to give you assurance that there's nothing to worry, that we are following exactly what has happened the last few cycles, and just wait it out until October, November, and don't worry. It's happening exactly as I think it has happened every time, and then just keep holding your Bitcoin and buying along the way. Thank you. See you. Bye.